Hello, Met fans, and welcome back to the Shateless podcast. This is season 2 of our podcast. As always, I am Lou, that is Vin, and we are back with another full season of Mets coverage. You're the number one show for the fans by the fans. This is our annual season preview show. We look forward to this show every year. Me and Vin have a lot of things to say, so let's talk about it. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below on YouTube. And please turn on your notifications so you get updated every time we post something on the channel. So let's go. All right, Vin. So as we know, it's been a crazy offseason. The Mets made a lot of moves, both good and bad, that we've discussed during the offseason. But we turned the page to 2026. And with that comes new optimism and new enthusiasm for this new team that David Stearns has put together. But before we start talking with the team, Vin, this is going to be a very special year for all Mets fans of all ages. Just last week, we were hit with the news that longtime legendary Mets announcer Howie Rose is shutting the microphone off, and he's deciding to call it a career. And Howie Rose has been a part of our lives since we've been watching the Mets, both on TV and radio. So let's give our thoughts about Howie Rose, maybe some memories we might have before we preview this upcoming season.
I mean, listen, Howie's an absolute legend. Like you said, the radio, the ceremonies on TV. I remember, driving home as a kid with my dad from Shea Stadium and hearing Howie Rose's post game or whatever the case was at that time. But he's got so many great moments, and we posted some of them on our Instagram. But what he said at the end of the 2024 season, I think there's very few guys that we've gotten to listen to that can really sum everything up in such a it's kind of might not be the right word, but such a crazy dramatic fashion, and really hit the nail on the head. And he was able to capture everything we witnessed in 2024. And hats off to Howie, because he's an absolute legend, not just in New York but across baseball. And is it too cliche that we could say 2026 he's gonna put it in the books?
Yeah, man. As we get older, so do these guys that we grew up with. Seeing the guy like Howie Rose, like you said, I don't remember. I mean, I was very young, but I remember seeing Howie on TV briefly.
Right.
But Howie's always that guy that whether it's driving home from work or driving to a game or driving home from a game, that he was the man on the radio, and his voice was, just like a Mike Breen or somebody to that stature,
Right.
where he has such a recognizable voice here in New York, and he holds such a stature when it comes to the airways that he's going to be missed, and it's a big shoes to fill for whoever's going to be taking his spot. But man, I mean, that end of the call, put it in the books. What an iconic phrase, and it'll go down as an iconic phrase here in the city. And one of my favorite calls, and I think because it was the first time that I got to witness, like really enjoy a World Series appearance. That final call that he made when we were when we won the pennant in 15,
Yeah.
heading to the World Series, and just hearing him on the radio. I purposely turned on the radio to hear his call that night, and it's something that I'll always remember. So hats off to Howie, and we wish him nothing but the best. But just
Absolutely.
just a staple in Mets history. So yeah, so I just wanted to briefly touch on that before we start
And
previewing.
real quick, I just want to say, because you brought up a good point, it's going to be just a quick comment on it. How you brought up Mike Breen, and we've kind of been spoiled living in New York, because we've had Mike Breen, we've had Gary, we've
Yeah,
had Howie Rose, and for the Rangers fans out there, we had Sam Rosen.
Tim Rosen. Yep.
And a lot of these guys, we welcome them into our homes every year. So, like you said, just congratulations on an absolutely legendary career, and nothing but the best to Howie Rose.
Well, turning the page, and hopefully, Howie Rose gets to go out on top, and he gets to celebrate his final season as the Mets announcer with a World Series championship. And that's what we all can hope for. So let's turn the page to what we are here for this evening, and let's preview the 2026 season. So Vin, let's start off with the lineup. Okay, so the lineup is so much different than last year.
Oh,
We're not going to speak about it again because we spoke about it ad nauseum in the offseason. But let's talk about a couple of things that we're excited about. Let's highlight what the starting lineup is projected to be, and then we will talk about our opinions on who we like at the positions and maybe some things we don't agree with. So why don't you read us the projected lineup, and then we'll go from there.
All right, so they have the projected lineup. We were looking at it before we came on. They have it as Lindor, Soto, Bichette, Polanco, Lubob, Beatty, Semien, Alvarez, and then this was before the announcement today. They had Tyrone Taylor in right field, but as we all know now that's going to be Carson Bench. So
Right.
that's the projected lineup they have on here now. And it's a deep lineup, man. It's a really good one.
Yeah, and comparing this year's lineup to last year's lineup, I mean, the one thing that sticks out to me is bat to ball,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
there's not a lot of swing and miss guys on this team, which is a complete polar opposite to what we've seen even going back to that 2015 team, the last time we made the World Series. Obviously, David Stearns has his fingerprints all over this lineup. This is a team that he built and a team that he dismantled coming into this offseason. One of the additions that I can't wait to see on a daily day-to-day basis is Bo Bichette. I think a lot of people, maybe here in the New York tri-state area, I mean, I know he's a superstar on his own, but I don't think they realize how good of a hitter this guy actually is. And him hitting behind Soto is going to change this Mets lineup from top to bottom. So having Bichette in the lineup is going to be a huge addition. Just the fact alone that he's the most clutch hitter in baseball, and numbers don't lie. So his ability to hit with runners in scoring position, I think is going to be a big plus for this team moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all got to see it kind of not year in, year out, but most of the time that Toronto team was deep into the season, at least in contention. And right in the middle of that lineup every single year was Bo Bichette and Vlad. I'm really excited for Bo Bichette. I'm excited for Luis Robert, but I think the guy, and we mentioned this last year, and it kind of didn't work out for him, but I think the guy that's ready to take that next step, I'm going to say it again this year, I believe it, is Brett Beatty. He tore up spring, and now he's got veteran guys that seem like clubhouse guys. We mentioned it briefly in one of our off-season episodes. Just the fact of with Bo Bichette and Simeon, how much they loved each other in Toronto, and Bo spoke on it. And, it was like since day one before the World Baseball Classic, Luis Robert Jr. and Juan Soto seem to be joined at the hip. So it does seem like there's more camaraderie this year, and it's exciting. And I expect Beatty to draw to, maybe get to that 80, 85 RBI mark with all these guys hitting in front of him. Like you said, these are professional hitters now. I'm not expecting what we saw out of that old group with, the second and third and one out, and the guys are striking out. Bo Bichette, Semien, Polanco, these guys are professional hitters and they know how to get that run in. So it's going to be, I think we're going to be like that 15 Royals team where we wear down pitchers and we're just bat to ball, like you said, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I agree with you on Brett Beatty. I mean, going into the offseason, looking at the roster, there were 4 guys that I looked at and I had major question marks around all 4 of those guys. It was Brett Beatty, Mark Vientos, Francisco Alvarez, and Ronnie Mauricio. What was Stearns going to do with that second wave of Mets that showed flashes along the way, but never really, took the position and ran with it? And
Right.
at the end of last year, I told myself that out of those 4 guys, Brett Beatty is the one guy that I feel most comfortable with getting everyday at bats. I was okay with having coming into the season with Brett Beatty being my starting third baseman if we added guys like a Schwarber or a Tucker, but
Right.
the chips didn't fall, and we wound up getting Bo Bichette. So now Brett Beatty has the ability to play multiple positions, which is very good. But he's the one guy that out of those 4 that I'm hoping can take the step, like you said, and really push that RBI limit to the 80 to 85, because
Yeah.
that would be a nice step for him in his progression.
And I think the interesting thing about Beatty is, and I'm more inclined to do it. I don't know how they're going to go on opening day. I like Beatty at first base over Polanco. I like Polanco DH and I like Beatty at first.
I said the same exact thing, and I think Beatty looks more natural fielding the position at first
Right.
base than Polanco does. And even if we start the season like that, and then as the season continues, there might be a slow transition the other way. Polanco going to first, Brett Beatty playing other positions because he has the position versatility. But to start the season, I wouldn't mind seeing Polanco DH and having Beatty play first. Another guy I really want to talk about, Ben, and he's looked great this offseason, Francisco Alvarez. I mean, we say it every year, but it looks like just the eye test. It looks like he got in the gym this offseason. It looks like he lost that weight that could have caused the problem. Not saying it did, but could have caused the problem last year. So I'm excited to see what he brings. If he can stay healthy, he has the ability to hit 20 to 25 home runs,
Yeah.
like we said, like we saw, excuse me. And if he does that for us, that does wonders for our lineup at that bottom of the lineup.
Absolutely. And, Alvarez is an exciting guy because we heard back when Scherzer was here how much these veteran guys loved pitching to him. And, unfortunately for him, he's had some rough injuries where he gets hit in the hand or he's sliding into second with the thumb. But just avoid those crazy injuries, man. And I think, much like I said about Beatty, the veterans in this lineup, I'm expecting Beatty and, whether it's even Benj, Beatty, Benj, Alvarez. I'm expecting those guys to hit with guys on a lot this year.
I agree. I agree. And then the one guy I want to talk about, Vin, we have to talk about him, is our guy Lou Bob. I mean, we've been saying it for years. Everybody knows how high we are on this guy. The fact that we finally get to see him play at City Field every single day wearing that number 88 jersey in center. I'm so excited to see this kid play. I think fans are going to fall in love with him as long as he stays on the field. He has to stay on the field, but his upside is sky high. I mean, this guy has pure talent both offensively, defensively, and he has the ability to steal 30 to 35 bags. I mean, if he's healthy, man, what does that do? I mean, could be the guy that moves up in the lineup that becomes our four hitter. He has that ability. So I'm super excited about Lou Bob as well in the lineup.
Well, I said it when we got him, and you listen, me and you, like you said, we've been high on this guy since he was a rookie, and we take a lot of crap from it in the Instagram chat. But I said it, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it, and I believe it. He's our best center fielder since Carlos Beltran. And
100%.
I don't think there's any really, second place to this guy. Just on a talent level, he is so far beyond what we've had in center field. And I think from fans, what I would say is, and we say it all the time, if we're wrong, we'll admit it when we're wrong. But you have these fans that want to trust in everything that Stearns does and then rip certain things that he does. Stearns has been on this guy, we know now, for about a year and a half. And now he finally got his guy.
Yeah.
And this is not, regardless how this year ends up, this is not the Chicago White Sox lineup. This is not going to play out there every day where I've been to games out there. You got 5,000 people in the stands. Opening day at City Field is going to be something almost completely different to this guy.
Yeah.
And he's the type of guy that when he unlocks that next level, and if it takes him being next to Soto or being in a clubhouse with Lindor where he's more comfortable, I think we have a chance where, like you said, I would say the majority of the fans are going to fall absolutely in love with this guy.
I agree. I agree. So we're definitely going to have to wait and see. But Vin, read us that lineup one more time. Let's go through it. And then we'll move on to the pitching.
All right, so we got Lindor, Soto, Bichette, Polanco, Lubob, Brett Beatty, Marcus Semien, Alvarez, and Carson Bench. Congrats on the call up.
Congratulations to Carson Benj. And before, you know what? Let's highlight that. So just today, we got the official word. It's been teased for the last couple of days that Carson Benj has officially been named the starting right fielder for our New York Mets. What a great accomplishment for this young man. He's been nothing but great since we drafted him. And this is Stearns' guy. I mean, this is the first draft pick that Stearns picked since taking over the team. And boy, oh boy, is he ready for this position. His ability to hit with runs in scoring position, his ability to get on base, and his ability to steal bases is all there at a high level.
Great arm in right field.
Great arm in right field. The one thing that I want Met fans not to freak out about, I don't think at this point in his career that he's going to hit a ton of home runs, but that's perfectly okay. Just get acclimated to the major leagues. Be around these guys every day. Be around the Juan Soto. Be around the Francisco Lindor, and really harness the moment and take it in, and just let the season ride out because he
Yeah.
has every ability to be great.
And I think the most impressive thing about him was watching him this spring is when he gets two strikes on him, he's just put the ball in play and let's see what happens. That's very rare from a young hitter. And like you said, he looks like he's a five-tool type player. Man, what a position for him, huh? At that age to be in an outfield with Luis Robert and Juan Soto.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be awesome to watch. It's going to be great to see as he progresses through the regular season.
Yeah.
So we're definitely looking forward to seeing him on opening day. So Vin, let's pivot to the starting rotation. Let's talk about these starters. Let's talk about what we predict and what we like about this starting rotation. So Hit us with the rotation.
All right, so we got, as we all know, newly acquired ace, another Stearns guy. Freddie Peralta is going to head the rotation, and then we got David Peterson, who's going to get the ball. Game two, McLean will be 3, Clay Holmes will be 4, and Senga is going to be 5, pumping Sean Manaea to be the most expensive bullpen arm in baseball.
I mean, for the first time in a while, I like how we're situated in terms of starting pitching. Do I think that we could have used another anchor, another innings eater in that rotation? I do, just because of we saw with Clay Holmes last year that he had a great start of the season, but those innings really taxed his arm later in the year, and he showed the inability to go deep into games, really averaging only 4 or 5 innings a start. And we saw how much that took a toll on him later in the season. I mean, maybe Sean Manaea finds that role on this team where he can be that sixth man. Where as we go through those dog days of summer, we could throw him in there to really, give those guys that extra time so they can continue to stay healthy through the season. But going back to Freddie Peralta, I mean, this guy led the major leagues in multiple stats last year. He won 17 games. He's an absolute innings eater,
Yep.
and he's just a dominant pitcher in baseball. So, to add him to this rotation, to add him as the anchor, what the term is in baseball is a stopper, where, we go on those 3, 4 game stretches where we just can't do anything. He comes in and he shuts down the opponent to really, give the Mets a chance every fifth day. So, great addition to the team by David Stearns. But the one guy that I'm most excited about, Vin, is Nolan McLean. I mean,
Of course.
I know he wasn't absolutely dominant in the World Baseball Classic, but the upside of this kid, the stuff that he brings every fifth day is unquestionable. So really looking forward to seeing Nolan McLean in Citi Field this year.
Yeah, and I think, listen, how could you not be excited about McLean after what we saw last year? Like you said, I think you were spot on with Freddie Peralta. The guy is an absolute bulldog, makes 30 starts every year. He's what we needed in this rotation. And as far as, you touched quickly on Sean Manaea. I don't even think he's going to make it through the season with this team. I think he'll be gone at some point this year, and I think that the Mets really like Christian Scott at some point to come back. Yeah, so he when he came up in 24, he looked pretty good. I think the Mets like him, so I think we'll see him at some point again this year, and I think we're also going to see Tong again at some point this year. So unfortunately for Manaea, he seems to be that odd man out with really no role right now, and I'd be very, very shocked if he's here come midway the season. I think he's gone.
I mean, yeah, that would be really interesting if he's gone at at the All-Star break. I mean, we do love, both of us are big Tong supporters. We were at his games in the minor leagues in Brooklyn. We went to his first outing here at Citi Field. So we really hope he continues to progress and eventually get his chance to be in the starting rotation. But I think I agree with you, Vin. I mean, that's a lot of money they're giving Manaea. If they could get that money off the books at the All-Star break.
A crap recently in the Instagram chat because I said that they should have traded Tong and kept Sproat, and has nothing to do with not liking the kid Tong. I'm just a little nervous with his velocity. I'm obviously rooting for him, but I don't know. I
I
just a
mean,
little nervous with him.
but Vin, at the same time, if we're contenders and we're in the race for either the division or a playoff spot, do they trade a guy like Tong to acquire a big time arm at the All-Star break, So, listen, he's very young. He's only 20, turning 21. He has all of the stuff in the world. Listen, he made what, 3 AAA starts last year before getting called up. So I like the fact that they're starting him down in the minors. They're not expecting a lot in terms of him being on the major league club. So I think he'll be fine. I just think, he needs some time. But switching over, Vin, to the bullpen. Oh, wait. No, we can't go to the bullpen. Excuse me. We have to speak about Kodai Senga and the offseason and the spring training that this guy had. I mean, one game I was watching, this guy was touching 99. And
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen that from him. So, just like Lou Bob, his biggest question is his health and can he stay on the mound? But if he does in that 5th spot, man, I mean, what an anchor he could be because we all know how nasty his stuff is.
Yeah, and now there's no Alonso to hurt him on those flips to first base this year. But
Well, that was terrible.
we've seen the good side of Senga, and we know it's there. It's just a matter of consistency with this guy. And if he's pitching to the capability that we've seen and we come to expect from him, that rotation looks really solid. And it's five deep. And we knew they were going to give Peterson a shot, being that lefty starter who's shown glimpses of being dominant in the past. But we'll see. I think Senga is going to be very, very important to this team because we're going into the season expecting Peralta and McLean. And to a certain extent, after the way he pitched last year, you got to expect it from Clay Holmes too. But I think Senga is that linchpin that really ties the back end together. And if he's good, that rotation's real deep.
So Vin, let's quickly talk about the bullpen because I want to get to our predictions on the season. So let's talk about the bullpen real quick and let us know what are those arms that are going to be coming out of the bullpen to start the
Well, it looks like it's going to be Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, AJ Minter will be there. They're gonna have Raleigh, Brazabon, and it looks like they're gonna let Lovelady go out in the bullpen. But I'm not gonna lie, this bullpen scares me.
Yeah.
And if they are at a certain point of the year, like you mentioned, trading maybe a kid like Tom, and you have a chance to maybe go get this is a guy that's good. I'm sure we'll hear about it again this year, a Mason Miller type guy, because outside of Devin Williams and Luke Weaver, and somehow if Brazabon could pitch the way he did in the World Baseball Classic, because that wasn't the Brazabon we're used to in Queens,
No, absolutely
but
not.
it's a I'm nervous about the bullpen. So I guess all we could say is we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's the biggest question mark in my opinion going into the season. I mean, I didn't like the signing of Devin Williams to begin with, and then I would have been okay with the signing of Devin Williams if we kept Edwin Diaz, but losing Edwin, what happened?
That's the caveat. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, losing Edwin Diaz to the rival Los Angeles Dodgers, and then signing Devin Williams, and then Luke Weaver, like two guys who struggled mightily last year. I'm just not enthusiastic about this bullpen at all. One thing that I would have done, I mean, I know he's not the same pitcher that he was, his entire career, but having a veteran presence sit in that dugout on the road at home every day, I thought Kimbrel should have. I think just off his resume alone, can make a bullpen. So I think that not letting him be on the major league team to start the season, I thought kind of was a little bit of a slap in the face. I mean, he wasn't bad in spring training where like, all right, this guy was terrible, get him out of here. And I think his intangibles off the field could have helped that bullpen more than just him pitching, every other day. So I would have liked to see him make the team. He is a future Hall of Famer, so it would have been, it would have been nice to get him in there. But overall, Vin, like you said, I think we're gonna have some major ups and downs coming out of that bullpen. And if not, listen, if Devin Williams can turn back the clock and go back to being what is his nickname, the Airbender, then sure. Listen, it's a great move by Stearns, but I just don't see it. I mean, the guy. I mean, I know it's Yankee Stadium, I know it's City Field, but he proved last year that he wasn't ready for the New York market. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
I mean, how much more do we have to worry than when he comes in spring training and the first pitch he throws ends up being a home run?
I know. So yeah, so that's definitely gonna be
One,
interesting.
the Luke Weaver signing does kind of intrigue me a bit because I know there was a point last year where he was getting hit, and the Yankees apparently found out and saw that he was tipping pitches for about the last month and a half of the season. He was unhittable.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get that version of it. But I think looking at the lineup and looking at the rotation, the names that always seem to become available, I think if they're in it at the deadline, the bullpen is where you're going to have to see upgrades because, especially, we know come playoff time, it could be Freddie Peralta, it could be Scooble, it could be, right across town, Garrett Cole. We've seen it with him, Max Fried. These managers run to get these starters out of the games and turn to the bullpens.
Right.
So then it becomes a strength in numbers type thing, and I think that's gonna be the spot on the team that if we see any type of major upgrades, I expect it to be in the bullpen throughout the year.
I agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Oh, Vin, we previewed the team that is the starting roster for the 2026 team. Something that we've done probably since the 2020 season, since COVID. I know we used to do it on Instagram Live with the guys, but now that we have the podcast, we switched it over to this format. We like to predict, do our season predictions for the year, both a number of categories. So we'll quickly run through them. I have them listed here. We'll talk about our predictions, and then we'll wrap up.
Yep.
We'll do a wrap up and a prediction for the year. So let's start off with here in Queens with the Mets. What is your win total for the team this year?
I was right thinking right around this last year, and I'm gonna go with the same number. I feel comfortable saying 92 wins.
Okay.
That's where I'm most comfortable, 92.
And what position do you think they finish in?
Right off the bat, I was gonna say first. I don't know if 92 wins will be enough to finish in first, but I'm gonna say first because I think when you look at the rotation, you look at the lineup, I think they're right there with Philly, and I think they're right there with Atlanta. So
All
I'm gonna
right.
say first place. I think we win the division.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with an even 90 wins. Like I said, the only thing that really scares me about this team at this moment is that bullpen. And if they're bad, that 90 win totals, I don't think we're gonna come close to it. But I'm gonna go with 90 wins. I also do think we take the division as well. I think the one thing we have going for us is and you know what? No, I'm gonna say it. I'm not putting it out there. But compared to other teams that have dealt with injuries across the board, we already see in Atlanta, Spencer Strider is already starting the
Yeah.
season on the IL. Uh,
Philly has
Ronald
no Wheeler.
Zach Wheeler. I mean, Ronald Acuna has a history of spending time on the IL. So, let's hope that that doesn't come to visit us at City Field, and we can stay healthy throughout the school year,
Yeah.
the healthy throughout the season, and we can take the division for the first time since 2015. 2015. So it'll be interesting to see. So I'm going to say 90 wins and first place. You're going to say 92 wins and first place as
Yeah,
well.
first
Very
place.
good. Moving on to the next one. Who will be the MVP of the team this year? So who's going to be the most valuable player on the Mets?
I mean, if they're gonna do anything this year, it's got to be Soto. I'm just gonna leave it at that. If they're gonna
Yeah.
be as good as we think, it's got to be Juan Soto.
Yeah, it's got to be Soto, and then especially the offseason that he had, and him coming out and saying that he's chasing Otani down for the MVP
Right.
award. I think we're ready. Listen, he had a slow start last year, but now that he has a full season here in Queens, I think we're primed to see a different level of Juan Soto this year. So I'm gonna go Juan Soto as well. So our MVP for the season will be Juan Soto. Who will lead the Mets in home runs this year?
So again, I'm gonna go Soto.
I'm gonna
Uh,
go Soto.
I mean, the guy, what he had 43 home runs last year,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like you said, he had a slow month and a half to start. It's
right.
Juan Soto.
Juan Soto. Who will lead the team in average this year?
Bo Bichette.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say Bo Bichette.
Big Bo. Okay. I'm gonna go. I mean, it's hard not to say Bo. We're kind of on the same page about this. Just to change it up a little bit, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Marcus Simeon. I think he gets back to his old ways. I don't
Oh,
know. Just do
all
it out
right.
there. Change it up. So why not? Okay. I'll go Marcus Simeon. What do I have here? So home runs. Who will be the RBI leader for the New York Mets this year? This could be a tricky one.
So this one, I'm actually gonna, I'm actually gonna say Bo Bichette again.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be Bo. I mean, I know Soto drove in 100 last year, but I think the position that Bo Bichette's gonna be hitting in this year, and like we said earlier, how professional a hitter he is behind Lindor, behind Soto, and I think with the bottom of the lineup being more improved, I think he has. I said it when we signed him, and then as the team rounded out, I think we might see a career year from Bo Bichette this year.
I mean, if we get a career out of Bichette and Soto, I mean, sky's the limit. RBI leader this year, I'm gonna go Juan Soto. I mean, I think the guys. I honestly think we could see him. This is a very tall mountain to climb, but I think he's gonna be in the running for a triple crown this year. I mean, I think he's.
That
Yeah, I think he's just gonna dominate this year. So I'm gonna go Juan Soto to lead the league in RBIs, home runs, RBIs. Who will have the most hits as the Met this year? I mean, it's hard not to say Bo Bichette.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Bo Bichette again. You know
Yeah,
what's funny? When we do this every year, we kind of have an idea who we're gonna pick, and I thought coming into this that I was gonna say just Soto, 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 Soto. But the more I think about it, I think we kind of even forget how good Bo Bichette really is.
right, right, absolutely. I really like this topic. This is one I enjoy talking about every year. Comeback player of the year for the New York Mets.
Ooh. All right. So, question: did he have to be on the Mets last year?
No, just a player who is gonna have a bounce back season.
All right, then I'm gonna say Luis Robert.
Lou Bob, that's our boy. I'm gonna go against the grain, and I think he's gonna prove a lot of people wrong this year, and I hope he does. But I think Devin Williams make a big mark in
Okay.
Queens, and I think that he settles in and he feels comfortable here, and he goes back to being the airbender here in Queens.
That'd be great for us.
That'd be great for us. I'll talk mad stuff to the Yankee fans. That'd be great. So I hope so. I hope so. So that's comeback player of the year. Who will lead the rotation in wins this year?
So, I mean, how do we not say Freddie Peralta? But I know you're going to say Freddie Peralta.
Actually, I'm
So
not.
then I'll go Freddie Peralta.
Okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna double down, and it might be silly to do it, but I'm gonna double down on my pick from last year.
Did
And
you say Peralta last year?
I said Senga last year, and I'm gonna double down again, and I'm gonna go Senga again. Everybody hates on this guy, but I believe in him. I think Senga will lead the team in wins this year.
Okay.
Gonna get killed for that. Strikeouts. Who leads the team in strikeouts?
I'm going to say Peralta again.
Peralta?
Yeah, because I think he's going to have the innings over a lot of the guys, and he's going to have the starts. So I
I'm
think
going
waits the
sorry.
results.
I'm going Nolan McLean. I'm gonna go McLean.
Okay.
So that's strikeouts, wins, saves. It's only Devin Williams will probably lead the team in saves. Um, okay, and I think that's all I have. So in terms of the Mets, so let's broaden it a little bit and let's go to season accolades. Excuse me. Let's go to season accolades. Let's talk about the league as a whole. Your NL AL MVPs.
I'm gonna. So I think I truly believe that the Mets are gonna have two guys this year in the MVP race, and I think it's gonna be Soto and Bo Bichette. I think Bo's gonna throw his name into that ring, but I picked him last year. He ended up finishing in third. So I'm gonna say Soto wins the MVP this year. And
NL,
oh, how do I not pick Aaron Judge?
yeah. I mean, the guy's
Who
just.
else is there?
I know Cal Riley maybe, but I don't think Cal Riley has a season like he did last year.
Yeah, I mean, if Cal didn't win it last year, I don't see him winning it. So I'm gonna have to say Judge.
You know who's my dark horse to
Jose
win
Ramirez,
my
Jared. Then I don't know.
my dark horse to win it? He's not my pick, but my dark horse to win AL MVP,
Julio Rodriguez.
Julio
Yeah.
Rodriguez. Yeah,
See what I
yeah,
said?
yeah. I think Julio really. I mean, he took a big step in his career last year. I think he continues
All
even to
right.
get even better this year. So just a dark horse, just a long shot. But I think
But
Judge will win
in
it.
reality, he means Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge, right? Aaron Judge, I think is going to win the AL MVP and NL MVP. You're gonna hate me for it, but there's just no stopping this guy. I think it's gonna be
Ohtani.
Ohtani. Yeah, I mean this guy is just we've never seen anything like him. Barring any injury, I just think that his numbers are just off the charts. But we spoke about this maybe last season. Like, at what point do the voters get voter fatigue and they keep voting for the same guy and start recognizing the greatness of other players around the league, like they do in the NBA? You know, how many MVPs should Shaq have won? Should Kobe have won?
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I think the problem with that is for some reason, and I can't figure out why, the Dodgers and Ohtani, even after the whole gambling scandal thing, are like the sweethearts of the MLB. So I don't know if we ever get that out of
I
out
know.
of the writers.
That's why I think it's gonna be Otani again. I mean, as much as we dislike the Dodgers, I can't dislike Otani. That guy's just he's a once in a lifetime
I mean,
player.
it's believable, but I still don't like him.
No, no, no. I respect. I understand why. Listen, I can't stand the Dodgers, but he's just that good.
Yeah.
So that's MVP. Cy Young for ALNL. Here's a tough one.
So if Scooble gets traded to an NL team,
Yeah,
where does that land him in the Cy Young race? Is he eligible in the AL or the NL?
I honestly don't know how that works, but let's just say he stays in Detroit for the sake of the podcast.
All right, so I'll say Scooble again because I think he's just the best pitcher out there.
Yeah,
And I mean, we just saw him pitch recently. I'm gonna have to say Paul Skeens in
yeah.
the NL.
Yeah, I mean, how can we not take Skeens? I mean, he's is unbelievable. Like, his stuff is filthy. I hope Scuba gets traded because I hope that we'll be in the conversation to make that deal get done. But like I said, for the sake of the podcast, I'll go Skeens and Scuba as well. But my dark horse, you want to take a guess?
AL or NL?
NL.
Freddie Peralta.
No,
Oh boy, can I have a division?
our division.
Oh God, McLean. Is he a Met?
No,
I don't know.
Sandy Alcantara. Sandy Alcantara. Yeah. I think that he pitched that guy's dominant, and when he's on, he's on. And I think that he's pitching to get out of Miami. So I think that he could be a dark horse to come back to his ways and win a Cy Young.
I actually really like that kid, Edward Cabrera too.
He's a beast. Well, he's not there no more. I forgot
Did
where
he
he
get
went.
traded?
Yeah, he's not there no more. I forgot where he went, but he's not in Miami no more. I know that. The Cubs, I forgot. But anyway, so we have
No big deal.
yeah, no big deal. Who will lead the league in home runs, NL.
Well, see, like in the AL, and we've had this conversation before, it's hard not to pick Judge. But, at the same time, when do people stop pitching to this guy? Is this the year that they stop letting Aaron Judge be the only Yankee that beats them?
Yeah, I don't think so.
If it's not, then I got to pick Judge, right?
Okay.
And in the NL, I mean, I'm praying that we start to see the downfall of Kyle Schwarber. I mean, I probably got to pick Otani.
Okay. So Otani and Judge again?
You can't not pitch to because of all the other names in that lineup.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna go NL. I'm going Juan Soto. I think he gets over the hump. I think he hits the most home runs in the NL. And the AL, I'm going Cal Riley.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Cal's gonna replicate it. Even if he doesn't replicate exactly what he did last year, I think he'll hit more than Judge.
All right.
All right. The big one, World Series winner. What is your World Series matchup? Who gets to call themselves World Series champions at the end of the 2026 season?
All right. So there's a part of me that actually believes this because I'm going to lead up to why I'm saying this. I think this is the year that Steve Cohen and David Stearns, that if there is that piece or pieces to go get, they will do it. I'm gonna pick us to win the
Verse,
World Series
verse.
over the Yankees.
What? What? 26 years
Yeah.
later.
There's a part of me that really believes that, and it goes back to 2024 when we handled them like dominantly, and we were 2 games from seeing them in the World Series. I think the Yankees are probably the best team in the AL, and that's just because the AL, in my opinion, is so bad. But I think if we meet up with them and Stearns and Cohen, throw their chips in the middle of the table and go all in at the deadline and push us past the Dodgers, because that I think would be our World Series.
Yeah,
If we beat the Dodgers, I don't think anybody in the AL is playing with us. I'm gonna pick the Mets over the Yankees. Like I said, I part of me believes it.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'm gonna go the World Series matchup. I'm gonna go. I can't see the Yankees getting there. I just don't think that lineup has enough to get them to the World Series.
They're pitching though. They're
I
pitching
understand that.
very good.
I understand their pitching is good. I can't see Stanton doing what he did again last year. I also can't see Bellinger having the season he did last year. And I think there's a lot of holes in that lineup that I think Yankee fans are kind of like worried about as well. But yes, if Cole is there, if obviously Max Fried is a beast, Schlittler is a beast, like their pitching is definitely A plus plus. But at the same time, I just don't think their lineup is there this year. I'm gonna go in the AL. I'm gonna go Toronto.
Toronto goes back to back.
I think Toronto goes back to back, and I think that they meet. I really want to say us. I can't agree with you. I can't see this team, you know, going all in at a deadline and making these moves to get it done. I just don't think that's Stearns' way. I don't think that's what he would do. The only thing that's giving me hope is the worry of a lockout, that they're willing to, to spend a little bit more, knowing we might not have a season next year. So I'm gonna go Toronto, and
A rematch.
nah. I just don't want to say it. Like I could see it
No.
again. I just don't want to say the Dodgers again, but they're so damn good. But just for the sake of having fun and picking somebody different, I think Toronto gets back there though. I mean, I think their pitching's very good. The kid Savage is proven to be great. So I'll say us versus Toronto, and then I think we take it. That'll be my answer.
All right.
All right. So we're at like an hour and 40 minutes at this point because of the blackout. So we're gonna wrap it up. So like always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Shayless Podcast. This has been our season preview for the 2026 season. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure you turn on that notification button. We will be back every week starting this week to discuss all things New York Mets. Keep supporting the page, guys. We appreciate every one of you. Keep supporting the Instagram pages. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next time from the Shayless Podcast.
Let's go, Mets.